السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير، غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. حسبنا الله لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلنا وأنت رب العرش العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. Inshallah.
Okay, we are on part 31 of the book of creation. We are reading from the the seabed of the light. We are on page 13 for us, and we will start with the paragraph in the middle of the page. If earth were made up of pieces of different colored glass, each piece would receive sunlight and reflect it accordingly. If earth were made up of different pieces of different colored glass, each piece would receive sunlight and reflect it accordingly. Although what each piece would receive and reflect is neither the sun nor its light itself, if each piece could speak, it would say, I am a sun. Although what each piece would receive and reflect is neither the sun nor its light itself, if each piece could speak, it would say, I am a sun. Similarly, if the colors of those smiling, brilliant flowers were to speak, although they are manifestations of sunlight's 7 colors, each would say, the sun resembles me, or the sun belongs to me exclusively. If the colors of those smiling, brilliant flowers were to speak, although they are manifestations of the sunlight's 7 colors, each would say, the sun resembles me, or the sun belongs to me exclusively. Those illusions are traps for saints.
No, don't
Stop there.
Yeah. This is obvious. Yeah.
I guess going off of the analogy, the part that I'm not fully understanding is where the author says, although what each piece would receive and reflect is neither the sun, which I understand, nor its light itself. That part I'm not sure, because isn't essentially that what the piece is reflecting? The light.
The manifestation of the light. Not the light itself. When it is manifested, it is transformed. Not the light. So because it is an analogy to understand the Creator and His qualities. So none of the pieces of the glass can say, I am God or the God, and I am not the quality of the God. That is light itself. But I am the manifested form of the qualities of God. This is important. That is actually main point here, to make the distinction between the sun and the qualities of the sun and its manifested form. But what is interesting here, the analogy says every piece reflects the sunlight, says I am a sun, not the sun. What does it mean? The significance of it. Everybody has some sort of understanding of the Creator and experiences His qualities within himself, because human beings are really multicolored pieces of glasses in our inner self. human qualities, as far as human qualities are concerned. Every quality, human quality, manifests one aspect of the Creator's qualities or connects. So the human consciousness, human conscience, and human consciousness using human qualities to communicate with the Creator. That is why this is the continuation of the subject. Why some Sufi tradition or Sufi leaders claim that they represent God, or in a sense that they have God within themselves. That is the purpose of the text that we are reading now, to say that they are misled with the manifestation or reflection of the manifested form of the qualities and the reflection in themselves. Like each piece says, I am a God. Within my own capacity, I am a God. I'm not saying I'm the one who created the universe. No one claims that. Nothing can claim that. Everyone says, I am a God. It means source of existence. God means source of existence of any quality that I have in me. It means any piece reflected in me, I am that piece, rather than this piece as nothing but a reflection, not external reality. It is just reflection, enables human consciousness to realize, that something real, external, existent reality is manifesting in itself, in human being. So each quality, each human quality, if you like, brings the news or explains what the source of existence of this reflected quality. So human beings question it, become aware of it, and attribute this quality to its source of existence. It means the real quality which manifested in human senses. We call it human spirit. So the consciousness uses this quality as means of communicating with the source. Got it? So we should be very careful. If I feel that I have some qualities which seems to be of mine, we have to question whether it is really originating from myself or it is a reflection. We have to question. It solves many problems. It stops us or prevents us from falling into arrogance. It prevents us thinking that I am a kind of the source of existence of something, so that result belongs to me. But this is the negative side. The positive side is, my source of existence is introducing himself to me. That is the best way. As we realize something existing within ourselves, we should be very careful that we are not the origin of these qualities. We are the recipients of these qualities. Makes Very relaxing conclusion. But makes sense. And also, we know where we stand in existence. Of course, if someone explains his existence in this very simple model of thinking or understanding, he or she can extend it to the reality of the other objects in the universe. They are only the recipients of the qualities of their origin of existence. They are not the originator of the qualities manifested in them, even they may not think that they are manifested. They belong to me. All the scientific explanations that we are, if you like, brainwashed, says the things have their qualities of their own, originating from themselves. That's what the materialist science, secular education is based on. So human beings also see themselves as the source of existence of their talents, their qualities. Egoistic humanity, egoistic universe. Self-centric humanity, self-centric universe. Self-sufficiency is proclaimed afterward. For example, the human beings are self-sufficient within their own qualities because they are the source of it, they own it. Universe is self-sufficient in its existence. So simple. Nothing complicated at all. Very simple. After studying all this, we can comfortably understand this pattern with no difficulty. And it makes sense. It sounds consistent.
So this analogy looks like more looking towards the materialist philosophy. How this analogy is related to Sufi?
We interpret it from, right now, I interpret it from materialistic philosophical side. But in fact, it at the bottom line, materialist philosophy, and which is called Wahdat al-Wujud, the oneness of unity of being, combines in the same point. So that's why, while the author was arguing against the materialist philosophers or philosophy in general, he felt the need to deal with the unity of being theory developed within Islamic culture. You cannot say Islamic culture, but Muslim culture. Some Muslim people interpreted it because when they are intoxicated with the real existence, they confused or identify their own existence with the existence of the real source of existence. So that's why they concluded a unity of being. A kind of, we are, so page 13. Yeah. So, yeah. We are now seeing that we are not defensive or we are not apologetic, justifying this unity of being theory fundamentally. We said, no, it is a materialist theory. Although they are immersed in emotional reflection of the reality of being, but it doesn't represent the reality. We can share and give to them. So this, yeah, okay, let's see. It is a very simple matter, and I really feel very comfortable, I would say, to subscribe to this approach and confirm. We have to make a very sharp, clear, no confusion distinction between the source of existence and the reflected qualities of the source of existence. So simple. Solves all the problems. So, as it is the case, not every thinker or scholar defends unity of being in the Muslim tradition. Always explains everything in these terms. They give reference to it. They call that you have to make yourself totally non-existent in order to become aware of your source of existence, creator. But while they are using this kind of vocabulary, how can I make myself non-existent? So as if they are really suggesting that you should have no, not as if was wrong. They are in fact suggesting that you should dissolve, melt your own independent being and submit it to the creator only, the owner of the universe. But they use an extreme language while they are doing this. They say you have to accept that you don't exist.
Usually.
Now, I exist as a reflected being. That's so simple. But they don't use this language. If you read Sufi tradition in both sides of the Sufi tradition, not only Sunni Sufi tradition, this, and the bottom of the bottom line, the Sufi tradition and also Shiite tradition, Sunni and Shiite Sufi tradition, both Sufi tradition, not theologians, combine, they found themselves in the same ground, talking about almost the same thing. But Sufi tradition goes further than Shia tradition, as well as I can see. For example, among the Shia tradition, it is not very common to see that Sufis in the Shia tradition claim this wahdatul wujud, this unity of being. But among the Sunni Shias, it is quite common. For any reason, we are not going to, and I don't know the historical reason why there is a slight difference between the two, but we have to understand that in both traditions, they don't always propagate this view. We will see now one paragraph from Rumi. Again, it is in his writings, but the author has chosen his right, if you like, couplet. So, not to damage the trust of the ordinary people. So that it's, oh, but look, Rumi says also this, but Rumi says other way as well in other writings. But that is what we should know. But the common people, you shouldn't lose their trust in great scholars. Look at they are great scholars. Really, if you read it, it's a very witty, very cunning, very smart man. Rumi makes most of points. The weak point is we are non-existent. That's the weak. Okay? We have to say everybody has some sort of weaknesses. Right. So we understand now I am a sun rather than I am reflecting the sun's qualities, which is the light. Yeah, I am not a small amount of light, a piece of light, but just reflecting the light. That is very useful. We know that only through this, no, 13 page, 13. But we are studying if Earth were. And then we will go to the following short paragraph.
So, to say I am a sun then means that I am a reflection of all the, or I am a manifestation of all the qualities in the sun, and in being so, everything that there is in the sun, all the qualities are also manifested in me.
No. In this context, if someone says, I am a sun, it means they don't mention about manifestations. So, because of this point, they don't mention about manifestations, reflections, they are combining or joining each other, materialistic worldview and unity of being worldview at the bottom. Both of them says, I am a sun. So materialist philosopher says, or scientists nowadays speak as a philosopher, as philosophers, although they are not, it is not their speciality, but they make lots of speculations in their interpretations. So they say everything has its own quality from itself. Matter attracts. Yeah. Water flows, things. That's what they call it natural laws. It means the principles we observe in the creation belongs to nature itself. The same thing. Either I represent the truth is also the same thing. Yeah.
So saying that I'm an illusory being, at the bottom line means I am a sun.
I am
I am a sun.
a sun, not this sun.
Yeah,
No
if
one
you say I'm an illusory being, it connects with materialism. You are also saying I'm a sun.
They don't say an atom created the whole universe. But they say an atom is the source of existence of the qualities we observe on it. As the mirror is the source of existence of the light reflected in it, belongs to the mirror. The same thing. But they go even further, which the Sufis don't. Even say that we have to find the God particle. It means the one who is the source of existence of the whole universe. That is a big, unfounded claim. No clue they have, but they are hopeless in proving their theories. They want to make up something so that it is ambiguous, first of all. The second, it further gives a further reference to the future and suspends the people's hope that they will find. So, yeah, we don't have it now. We cannot really physically demonstrate it, but we are trying to find it. One day we will find, don't worry. As we discover everything, they discover only what is manifested in the universe. But they don't say we are discovering what is manifested in the universe. They say we are discovering what is in the universe belonging to itself. That is the language play. So it's so simple. If you understand the matter clearly, all their jargon boils down to this fundamental, misleading, playing with the word trick. It is a trick of logic. But it's not logic, really. Trick of language. There is a rhetoric, is the best way. It's a trick of rhetoric. Nothing else, really.
If the Sufism philosophy is also at the bottom line, if they are also saying I am a son, it looks like very dangerous.
It is dangerous, but the materialists go further. The materialists go further by claiming that we will find a thing which is the sun within the universe. The unit of the supporters of the unit of being don't say that. I am the creator of the universe, but they say we will find it. It is a stupid, baseless, unfounded claim.
But Sufi philosophy, if they say I am a son, it's also very problematic.
Well, we didn't say it is not problematic. Why are you going back to the same point again? We didn't say it is not problematic. It is problematic, but materialists go even further just to keep people's mind busy with the hope that the matter will be solved in the future. Not now, but this future never comes. It doesn't justify that the Sufis don't do that. Still, it is wrong, but materialists is even more courageous to make a claim which is unfounded.
But is it the language problem of Sufism or is the belief problem also?
That is their understanding. Which the language with rhetoric means finding out something so that they're not real, presenting it. A point that people will be suspended in a hope. It will be discovered. It will be discovered. In a hope. It is just a hope. Oh, okay. I think we had enough. So, what Rumi says, when he is not intoxicated, if you like, sober Sufi, what does he say? Let's read.
Those illusions are traps for saints.
Yeah, no, illusions. They said illusion to say that I am the sun. I think it should be within the quotation marks. Yeah.
Whereas, in reality, they are reflections of the radiant face in the garden of God.
Yeah. You can read this in their writings, this kind of things. Rumi uses different languages. Yeah. In the context, depending on the context, actually. It is, this is right, but it is not his fundamental model of thinking. Confused. You know, sometimes there, sometimes here. Okay?
Those who believe in the unity of the witnessed or sensed, in the name of existence, follow sobriety, wakefulness, and discernment. Those who believe in the unity of the witnessed or sensed, in the name of existence, follow sobriety, wakefulness, and discernment. As the unity of being is a way of spiritual intoxication, the unity of the witnessed is a safer way.
Yeah. There is a difference. I mean, he's summarizing the argument he has put forward before him. Unity of being and unity of the witnessed. We understand witnessed means unity of witnessed. What human beings witness in their, if you like, quote unquote, mirror of existence. What do they witness? Manifesting in their mirror of existence. What do they witness? Somebody?
That they're basically like put there or existing in a way to reflect what is already out there rather than they are the source of what is there.
Reflections, manifested. They are a unit of witness. We are witnessing. Who is witnessing what? Our consciousness is witnessing what the qualities are manifesting in it, and so that human conscience will realize that he is the product of the source of existence of these qualities. That is how human beings function as a bridge between the created world and the creator, because it has two qualities: consciousness, aware what is going on within himself, herself. What is going on within himself? This awareness. But someone, sit next to Tarek so you can share. But someone is not aware of this reality, it is likely that you are sharing. Okay. It is likely to confuse. For example, ask yourself, in a practical question, ask yourself, when you have some talent, when you demonstrate something in your being, in yourself, do something, you don't take a kind of pride from it. You see, I did it. I did it. I know. Don't we? That is the problem. I mean, source of the problem. This is the temporary situation is put aside. But the source of problem, if we are not carefully, consciously question this feeling, how legitimate it is, then it becomes it becomes bigger, grows, and then, if you like, engulfs human ego with this idea that I am a God. They don't say I am a God, but this is mine. It means I obtained it. It is my, if you like, acquisition, but not acquisition really. Yeah, you can say acquisition, developed what is in me, but it belongs to me. For example, somebody may study or work on something and develop his ability on this matter and say, this is my quality, belongs to me, belongs to me. And this is the source of the misunderstanding or misinterpretation of one's explanation of his own. That is dangerous. Why? If someone is not aware that all the qualities I am apparently acquiring, it means working for, developing my potentialities, are nothing but the reflections of the source of existence of that quality. How? For example, a mirror has no free will. to educate himself, to improve its qualities. But human beings, a kind of mirror which improves its capacity. By what? By working, asking for. When we ask something, it means practically put it into practice. What happens? Our potentiality starts developing and becoming or unfolding. It is quality or the potential quality larger and larger than that's what we learn, for example. Yeah, if you do something and do exercises on many times, on many occasions, what happens? Your talent improves. You become more successful. You understand better. You solve the problems with the problems of this world better. You develop better understanding, clearer understanding of something. Rather, if we are not careful that this is nothing but unfolding what is already reflected within me. Think about it in the analogy of the mirror. For example, mirror reflects certain amount of light, which is reflected in it. If we think that mirror had a free will and worked on its capacity, became more and more able to reflect more light. Does this action change the nature of the reflection in itself? No. But the reflection is unfolding, but the reflection doesn't belong to you. When it is improved by human free will, working on it, it doesn't change the nature of reflection. It unfolds itself better. That's simple, isn't it? For example, we use electrical lamps. How do you say lamp? Which lamps? Light lamps?
Light bulbs.
Light bulbs. Yeah. Every light bulb has some certain quality that reflects light. Let's say the light bulbs have their own free will to become, for example, from 40 watt to 60. Does it make the light bulb, when it is 60, at least plus 20 belongs to the light bulb? No, it belongs to the electric supplier. He's not using it. It develops its capacity, but it doesn't mean that what is reflected in its capacity belongs to the light bulb. This is a simple example came to my mind now.
I think Rumi uses the example of the mirror getting polished.
Sorry?
I think Rumi uses the example of the mirror getting polished, that the mirror starts to reflect better because it has been improved.
Prove the quality of reflection.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it has been polished. It gets
Yeah.
polished.
Yeah. So let's say the mirror, it's a good example. Mirror has the ability to polish itself. As you said, it reflects more. It doesn't mean that it changes the nature of the light manifested in it. So if we are not careful about it, we become proud of our improvements or progress in reflecting the qualities manifested in us and appropriate to us, because it is the result of our effort to improve the quality of the reflection. So we think that our effort has increased the reflection from itself, so it belongs to our effort. That's what we usually use. This is my earning. That is what I gained. Yeah, and I am successful. I am a source of existence of this quality within me because I worked for it. This is my product. The same thing the materialists use for the matter. And the matter is the source of existence. If the matter is in a connection with other things around, it becomes more related with the others and influential in its function. They say, look, it is evolving, it is improving, it is developing, it is getting better by itself. Same mentality. That's what this kind of theories, the famous theories, develop. The things are improving themselves. The universe is becoming better and better in its order. Right? So, for example, how they say that a simple cell developed itself into a human being or an animal or a plant. The same thing. They say it itself developed it. That's the same claim. But in its nature is the same. So let's come to the Sufi tradition. If person works on certain qualities manifested in himself, so reflects on it more and more and more, it becomes aware of these qualities better. But it doesn't mean that he is becoming a little bit bigger, small God. Yeah, but we know it is unfolding what is already in human potentiality. It means human beings created with these qualities. Seeds developed into a tree or a plant. And the materialists say it is developing into a tree. But it is in it already, it is ingrained in its own being to be able to develop in this way. It's nothing to do with the seed. It is how the conditions of the manifestation improves. If you don't put the seed into a certain climate, or certain earth conditions, then it rots. If you put it into certain conditions, it grows. But it doesn't grow itself, its potentiality starts unfolding depending on the other external factors of growing. That's as we are learning better, the seed is growing into a plant. The same process is going on. So we have to be very careful about our own claim, our own feelings. And also, we have to be very careful to interpret how the universe is established. We have to be careful in our language, in our understanding of these matters. Not complicated, but because of our negligence, unawareness of what is going on within ourselves, we start owning our improved, developed qualities. And without realizing, claiming to be a small son, a small God within own self. That is called egoism, egoistic interpretation of one speak. But sometimes they use some languages which can be justified from another perspective, which is self-confidence, self-satisfaction. It may be right from one aspect, but it may be the source of disease of thinking in another aspect. So self-satisfaction, self is a right thing for a human being. But it doesn't mean the confidence should go into the field that I am the source of my own qualities. I exist by myself. Sorry?
From the moment we use the word I, the pronoun I, like it's
But
basically
still,
the same, like,
You can say, I am a created being. My creator's qualities are manifested in my being because reflections, as the word used here, unity of witnessed, unity of sensed. Whatever we are sensing comes from the same source. So you can use I in order to declare that you are a small God. You can use I in order to declare that you are how you are created. Yeah? I am created. Nothing wrong with it.
can we, I mean, we can't only talk like in the passive way,
Passive voice. Yeah.
in the passive.
So we that's important. Yeah. It's manifested. Yeah. That is why unity of the witnessed. It's a passive voice again. Okay.
What about if one says, I use my free will in a good way?
Yeah,
If
you use
somebody
your
tried
free
to-
will. Yes,
Free will.
you are given the ability to use it. You utilized it. Yeah, it doesn't mean that you are the source of the result. Yeah, you have to be careful. I am responsible to use my free will, but I shouldn't go into the area where I claim my own independent existence. Still, I am a created being. All the abilities are given to me, or I seem to have it, are given to me. So free will is also, consciousness is also, conscience, human spirit is also created, given opportunities for human beings to realize who they are, so that they will identify themselves consciously with their source of existence, which is the creator of the universe. The sun, that's it. There is no Esa, the sun, as far as the creation of the universe is concerned. Simple, plain, no complicated. Okay. And to me, it's simple. So, we are reading help all from reading from there. Okay.
Think about the bounties and blessings of God. Do not think about his essence because you are unable to do that.
No. Well, it is a common narration, commonly used narration, frequently used narration, very simple, in a simple language. It is the sayings narrated from the prophet, saying that don't think of the essence of God. It's very simple. In Arabic, which is called Zati Ilahi. But think about the attributes of God. Still, again, we cannot think about we have to be careful. Is anything wrong? So we cannot think and comprehend the essence of the Creator, neither can we comprehend the essence of the qualities of the Creator. Because the qualities of the Creator are the qualities of the Creator. So if you can comprehend the qualities, you can comprehend the essence of the being itself. So you cannot comprehend the qualities also, or as well as you cannot comprehend the essence. But what we can comprehend after they are manifested in us, in our being, reflected in our, if you like, human side, which is called spirit or soul. Got it? So this is the sayings of the prophet, but the sayings of the prophet does not emphasize on the importance of the verbal, not the prophet doesn't emphasize, but we don't know. Verbal translation, whoever translated or transferred it to us, narrated to us, used this much, whether he grasped all of it or he didn't grasp, according to his capacity of the narrator, we receive this sentence. But we have to understand that this sentence must be also treated carefully. If you say, don't think about the essence of God, his essence, but think about the attributes of God, which is Sifat Ilahi or Isma Ilahi, we need further explanation. Can we imagine or can we encompass the essence of the qualities of the Creator? No, because essence of God is absolute being. The qualities of the absolute must be, by definition, absolute. Both cannot be comprehended. But it doesn't mean that we cannot comprehend the manifested, reflected forms of the qualities of the Creator. Now we have to make the distinction, and we have to make a clarification in the narration. Look, however it is narrated in this way. We don't know exactly what is said by the prophet because it's a narration. Narration mostly depends on what? On the capacity of the narrator. So we have to take into account the capacity of the narrator, see that whether he really understood it or really he missed something because of the focus. Human beings focus one point. If somebody tells you a little bit long sentence, just to make it clear, long sentence, and if we test here, what did they understand from the sentence? Each one will come up with a different idea. That's a narration. It's quite normal. It is inevitable. We have to bear in mind. So we cannot really literally read any scripture or any narration from the prophet. Literally read it. We have to make sense of it within the big picture of the main teachings of the revelation or scripture. Any? Yeah, is it clear? This is the narration from the prophet. Okay, I got it. The text makes it, the translation makes it bounties and blessings of God as they are manifested. Yeah. As they are manifested.
I have a theoretical question.
Theoretical.
Yeah. So, for a moment, leaving aside what is the current reality, just for a moment, if I was to, I guess the question is, a thing or an entity which is absolute in its nature,
Entity, did you say? Thing or entity, yeah.
which is absolute in its nature, can it create something which is able to recognize its absoluteness?
Absoluteness. Now, by definition, absolute cannot be limited with anything, by definition. So, it can manifest itself in any way, in an absolute sense. But after it is manifested, it becomes limited. After it manifested, it becomes limited with the capacity of the, if you like, loci or location of the manifestation. It means, the simple example, the sun is there, but when it is manifested in the mirror, depending on the capacity of the mirror, this much sun, that much sun, is light bulbs, Depending on its capacity, you can get this much light or that much light, more light, depending on the capacity of the bulb. But the electric supply is the, by definition now, applying to this example, to this question, absolute. So it is manifested in different forms, but it doesn't mean that the absolute cannot really create something which can comprehend its absoluteness. But there is but. Yes, that is correct, but we have to understand what comprehension of the absolute means. Now, comprehension of the absolute is not observation of the absolute, to make sure, is not imaginability of the absolute, but it is rationality, acceptability of the existence of absolute. That is called belief. Now, it makes sense, I confirm it. Did I comprehend it? No. But must be, we use this expression a lot. We don't say God is like this, God is like that. We cannot, we don't use this language, and I don't think it is legitimate to use it. God says, I am like this. But I say, okay, let me see the reflections assimilated within on myself and say, yeah, you must be as you said. Yeah, you must be as you say. Yeah, I am all powerful, absolute power. I have absolute power. I said, really? Really? He said, yeah. I am. I say, let me see the manifestation. And when I look at the manifestation, I say, yeah, you must be absolute. The source of existence of the universe must have an absolute power. So simple.
So when this text says, do not think about his essence, because you're unable to do that, it's implying more so that you cannot comprehend or observe his essence. But,
It is essence.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you can confirm about the absoluteness of
Necessity of the
Yeah.
necessity of the absoluteness of the source of existence. It means we say, yeah, it must be necessarily the source of existence of this universe must have no limit. It is absolute. That is, if you like, as a result of our consciousness, we are able to conclude this logically, consciously. But comprehension is different. Now, comprehensibility of the absolute goes or contradicts the definition of absolute. If you comprehend, means you are getting the outline of it. If, by definition, something has an outline of it, which is comprehensible now within the outline limits, it cannot be absolute. But logic says the source must be absolute because of the manifestation of the qualities of the source demonstrating itself in the universe. Because we see that, for example, a simple example, the simplest example is manifestation of power of creation. Everything is created at the same time and continuously at the same time. Doesn't take time, and the number, the amount, complication, sophistication of the created things, regardless, doesn't have any significance in their coming into existence and limiting the power of creation. What does it mean? It must be absolute, present everywhere at the same time. With anything is created, you can find the same qualities. You have to say absolute. Not big. Yeah, not big, but absolute. That's why unity of God is absoluteness of God God is great means God is absolute. We have to understand different languages, but pointing to the same nature of the Creator. Yes, shall we? If you have no other concern, we can continue.
The reality of humanity. While humanity cannot perceive it, how can humanity perceive how the eternal, all-compelling is? While humanity cannot perceive it, the reality of
So
humanity.
bear in mind that we have a question here. What it refers to? Yeah, okay. Now it's a question. Continue.
How can humanity perceive how the eternal, all-compelling is? He is the one who originated things and built them. How can one who is a breath created perceive him? To conclude,
To conclude as bullet points. It means now summary of what we have been studying for maybe a year, I think approximately a year, about this matter. So we will go over it step by step, one by one, but let's stop here. First, let's decipher the language. First, we have the question about it. Yeah, the pronoun it. Humanity cannot perceive. I think this is a problem of the language here. Maybe they found it. I suggest, or if you have another suggestion, have you thought about it? What it refers to? Look at the sentence again and again until the question mark.
The reality of humanity.
One suggestion.
Is it him?
Sorry?
Is it like capital him?
But referring to what? Possible, but explain. Him refers to something within the sentence.
God.
But there is no God in the
All
sentence.
eternal, the eternal all compelling.
Yeah, the eternal, all-compelling one. All-compelling, eternal. I mean, this is the translation problem. Why do you say eternal, all-compelling? Eternal, all-powerful. Compelling, what's compelling word? Probably. In English, it's not a clear word. So I say eternal, all-powerful one, all-knowledgeable. It's very understandable. Compelling is you have to struggle for a while. So it hinders my process of thinking. What is compelling? Doesn't matter, really. The quality of the creator, any quality of the creator, which has endless qualities manifested, but most apparent of them: power, knowledge, will, wisdom, mercy, judgment, being a judge, making everything in balance and within order, perfect, purposeful. These are more apparent qualities.
sorry. So it's referring to like the essence of the qualities, not the qualities themselves. For example.
Itself. It was the eternal, all knowledgeable, all eternal creator. Eternal creator, of course, essence of it. That's our subject. The reality of humanity is as we are created beings. We are created beings as we are now. We, in our creation, in our existence, some qualities continues to manifest. Surely, no one can claim that I am the source of my own existence. That's not blind. This is a very blind. I created myself. I've never heard anyone say. But my cells developed in billions of years, with the period of time, and it became like this, developed by itself. Yeah, some people claim, but no one says, I am my creator. I am the source of my existence. No, they don't say. So humanity can question the source of existence of their qualities, including their existence. What is the source? Where did I get it? I didn't make myself. Even you say the cell, can cell develop by itself? Can the quality of the cell exist by itself? Question it. Not necessarily that can the cell exist by itself, but the qualities of the cell by itself. You can ask the question, but the same thing. But people don't say that, usually don't say that cell or atoms or particles exist by themselves. They say their existence is eternal, without they are hiding. Why? If they said, this is again language trick. It's a rhetoric trick. If they said atom created itself, it existed by itself, it means created itself. It doesn't make sense. How a thing can create itself? It's so obvious. Because if a thing is going to create itself, it should exist from the beginning. If it exists from the beginning, it doesn't need to create itself. It already exists. So it is an obvious logical inconsistency. They cannot claim this. They cannot say this. Everybody will say, are you stupid? What are you talking about? What they say, they hide themselves behind a language that people find it hard to imagine. What is that? Matter is eternal. It's a very slippery and dangerous, tricky language. Eternal. Eternal? Matter is eternal. Eternal means what? Eternal means what? Sorry?
Not limited.
Eternal, time-wise, its existence is not, it means it doesn't have a source of existence, it exists by itself. The same thing again. Yeah, it exists by itself. That's how it is. It doesn't have a creator, it doesn't have a source or an agent which originated its existence. It means it existed by itself. Self-existing being. So, do we see any quality in the matter that it is a self-existing being? Simply impossible, because it is subject to the order of the universe. It doesn't have any free will. It doesn't have any quality. It has to follow how it was given existence. It doesn't develop its qualities if it wasn't within their existence. It's been given. They cannot be the source of existence of their qualities by definition again. The same contradiction, logical inconsistency and contradiction lies in the same problem. It's a problematic language, it's impossible. So by using matter is eternal, they are hiding their illogical inconsistency, saying that maybe if something is eternal, it shouldn't change. Yeah? It shouldn't be subject to change. I am eternal. why should I be subject to change? It means I am eternal. If I am eternal, I am absolute. If I am absolute, why should I be subject to anything else? Do you understand this? No? Or yes? Yeah. Again, it is really a play with the words so that the people will say, yeah, maybe, no, why not? What does it mean they don't question? That is an ideological, political matter. We're using this kind of questions. For a purpose, they are using it in order to impose their ideas so that the people will identify themselves with the matter itself. So they shouldn't look for a source of existence. So they shouldn't look for its responsibility towards the source of existence. Why am I created? So when you start thinking, why do you think? Because human consciousness requires this question. If I am created, who is my creator? Why did that source create me? Why did it create me? So you start questioning the purpose in your existence, which is very dangerous for the materialist political view. You know why? When you start questioning the purpose of your existence, you start questioning the source or the other political entities which try to direct you towards their own purposes. Yeah? Be enslaved of their own thinking, their own political structure. That's why it is ideological. Rather than trying to find out the truth, they are trying to take the control of your being and enslave you to their own program, their own purposes. That's what's going on. People are slaves of this civilization. No one questions what they are doing, why they are doing what they are doing. They say, everybody does this. That's what we have to do, because everybody does. We don't question. So, without realizing, they enslaved human beings to their own ideological purposes. It's a political game. We have to be very careful. It's not only believing in God and non-believing in God. No. Believing in God has its own purpose. Not believing in God has its own purpose too. Believing in God, identifying yourself with the absolute being and being responsible to this absolute being and trying to understand your relationship with him. Not believing in God and believing in your own existence, it means you are responsible as you are in the universe, subject to the already existing life conditions, which is political situation. That's why they are, to me, whether they are aware of it or not, I call the scientists who interpret the creation in a materialistic perspective, they are the tools in the hands of the politicians. It means political institutions, political powers. They are used, employed. But some of them may be innocent, I don't care. Because human beings are conscious beings, they shouldn't be so naive to be manipulated by others. We have to question. That's why we have to question what civilization is all about, what fashion is all about, what everybody does is all about. We have to question, why do they do that? So we have to be aware of our own purpose in our own existence. In order to do this, you have to question your source of existence. So the materialistic interpretation of everything, whether philosophical or science, they call it scientist, it's not scientific. They cannot find any scientific evidence for it. Scientists' interpretation of their world. That's a great difference. I interpret what I do, another one interprets what he does, and all the same action in another way. Interpretation are personal, subjective. Subjective to the person who interprets it. So all these interpretations of the scientists, whether they realize or not, serve the big picture, or the, if you like, grand project, political project. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that only materialist people do that. No, those people who disguise themselves under religion and a religious identity, they do the same thing. They want to rule you under a certain religious identity. They also say, you are subject to me because I represent God. It happened, and it is still happening, but not as much, because it became so clear that it is just a false image created by the rulers, kings. But it's still happening practically. In order to impose their own administrative programs on the people, they use religion. By saying that, look, I am acting on behalf of God. Yeah? You have to be very careful. Are you acting on behalf of God? Are you sure? What are you doing? You are asking me to obey yours. And your will, your proposal, does it match the will of the creator of the universe? But in order to understand the will of the creator of the universe, you have to understand the purpose in existence. Why do we exist? So you have to think that, why do I exist? It means, why am I created? For what purpose? To fulfill what purpose? So when you question this, you understand that these people use religion in order to manipulate you, to make you subject to their own desires. We call them kings, sultans. We have to be careful. These are all political maneuvers or strategies. This matter, somebody believes in God and somebody doesn't believe in God. It may be a personal choice, but if it is the common rhetoric, common prevalent civilization, like materialist civilization doesn't matter whether it may have different names, that's democracy or capitalist or socialist or whatever, dictatorship, whatever, the materialist civilizations, they have their own language, they have their own description. We have to be very careful. Even someone comes up with a religious authority, claiming something under the religious authority, we have to still question. This is, in the society level, belief in God and non-belief in God, or not believing in God, at the societal level, has its own political purposes. We have to understand this. But in personal matter, yeah, you believe in God, you don't believe in God. Accordingly, you interpret your existence. Accordingly, you interact with the rest of the universe now, at the personal level. You say, I'm doing this, I'm not doing this, because of this, because of that. Depending on your belief system, belief. So you can justify your choices in this way, or you can reject your choices, which contradicts to your understanding of existence. It means your belief in God may not agree with what you are choosing. You may find yourself contradicting within your own being. That is personal, that is correct, that is valid, but at the same time, what is going on in the society is not that much. It is a manipulation. If we don't see the political aspect of the general trend in the society that we are living in, even we say, I am a believer, still you find yourself not freely practicing your life if you are not conscious according to your belief. You are dragged, you are influenced, affected by the atmosphere of the community. But you have to be very sure about your personal belief so that you can resist against the influence of the wider society. Which is, especially nowadays in this century, is very essential to be aware of it. Social and political implications of belief and personal practice of one's belief. So we have to be careful and aware of two aspects at the same time. If you say, I am a believer, I believe in God, I follow Sharia or whatever, depending on your religious tradition, I follow the requirement of the religion, but you may not still, let's say in terms of Islamic tradition, you may still practice fasting, praying, giving charity, etc. But you may not realize that you are being manipulated because you are not aware. If you are not aware of the reality of political side of this belief or unbelief matter. So we have to be very well equipped with our understanding. We should never, ever reduce belief to a personal matter. Impossible. You are living in a society. But at the same time, while you are paying attention to the effect of the wider society in which you live, you should never forget your personal identification of your existence. How do you define your existence? And how do you really are you really being consistent within your own interpretation, explanation of your belief? They cannot be separated because we are social beings. We cannot live alone in the world. No one is living alone in the world by himself or herself. So both sides must be equally, carefully taken into consideration. What is going on around me? What is going on within me? Yeah, that's why while we are studying belief matters, in our discussions, we give references very frequently to social context. What am I doing in this society? Which kind of position I have within this society? How am I arranging with my interaction with the larger society? How am I doing this? So, am I conscious of it? Am I aware of it? When you look at the general trend among the people who claim that they believe in God, they identify themselves as created beings. Practically, it is hard to see people who are aware of the both sides of belief. Why it is not emphasized? Historical reasons. There are historical reasons. because the Muslim societies are manipulated by the leaders in society level, claiming to be religious as well. Do you understand the importance of it? Claiming to be religious as well. But manipulate, subjugate. No, they subjugate their subjects. They call it subjects. The king has subjects. Or even democracies. They don't say you are my subject, you are a free being. But again, they ask you how. By way of other means, they trap you into their network of way of life. They cannot do anything different from what they offer you. So this is one subject that I refer to very frequently. Now, the reality of humanity. I would like to read this sentence like this. If I'm wrong, correct me. The reality of humanity. What is the reality of humanity? Where it really stays? Or what is the position of it? While humanity cannot perceive the eternal or powerful one, let's make it simple, compelling, eternal being, how can humanity perceive it? I cannot perceive the whole being, absolute being. How can I really understand or make sure that this eternal being exists and must exist? What is it? Of course, I cannot comprehend it. Yeah, if you cannot comprehend it, how can you really be sure that such a being exists? That's what I understand. Is it correct? Does it sound correct? So, he is the one who originated things. This eternal being, absolute being, I think we understood now that must be the one who originated things, and he must be the one who built them. It means,
Gave them existence.
sorry?
Gave them existence.
Yeah, to the beings. Yeah, that's exactly. Gave them existence, gave the beings their existence. So if it is so, how can one who is a breath created perceive him? It means it is using the Quranic language. How can one who is a breath is what? Now, in the Quranic language, we know that the human spirit is the breath from God. Yep, God's own essence, breath. But I am as I am. As I breathe in something, what happens? It is not me anymore. Do you understand? Do you understand? No. Breath means something comes out, but not a piece of it. Not a piece of it. Equality reflects in it. We can say, in the simple language, we can say,
Can you say?
mirror,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, mirror is the breath of what? The sun. But the reflection of the light in the mirror is coming from the sun, but it is not the sun. Neither is it the light itself. It is just a reflection. Although it is coming from the sun, if there was no sun, there would be no light reflecting in it. Right? Simple? So that's what I understood. So human being is a breath. It means manifested quality of its creator. As a created being, human beings, how can it perceive the source of their existence? Right? How can it perceive the source of their existence? Because source of their existence is an absolute one. So let's say this mirror is reflecting the light of the sun. Okay, we understand this. How can the mirror perceive the sun itself? So, don't distract me. I'm joking. So, yeah, welcome. So, it's an interesting question, actually. We have to say, how can a one who cannot perceive the absolute being as a created being, by definition, created being is limited, cannot perceive the absolute. For example, in a very simple example, we frequently use this, a number cannot perceive the infinite. Yeah? But it is from the infinite, if you like. So it is an analogy, of course. So how can a number perceive the absolute, which is the source of its own existence? Yeah. Anyone?
I didn't understand why the first question, why humanity cannot perceive it. It means what?
Absolute being.
So second question also saying, how can humanity perceive how the absolute one?
Yeah. Although it is a created being.
So it's like repetition.
Of course, we understand the language by explaining it. We are just understanding the language. How can a created being, the further one, how can one who is the breath created perceive the absolute? Him means, as Abdurrahman said before, it means him with capital H. Right? So how can you perceive it as a created being, the source of your existence, which is absolute? It needs
But it's something
explanation.
very different. While humanity cannot perceive him, how can humanity perceive him?
Yeah, it's an absolute being. Yeah.
I think
Looks
Yeah,
like
I mean, the
repetition.
language, the translation seemed to be not very clear.
That's not
Yeah.
really how I understood it. While humanity cannot perceive it, the eternal being on page 13.
While humanity, yeah.
Yes, while humanity cannot perceive it, how
It
can
means,
the eternal
yeah,
the
eternal
eternal
being, yeah.
being.
Make it eternal being. Say that while,
how can humanity perceive how the eternal all-compelling is?
it means eternal being again.
Yes, but I understood the second part of the question as being how can it perceive its attributes? How
Or itself or attributes. But I think we know this answer. You know why? We have been talking about it on many occasions, saying that not being able to comprehend the absolute one doesn't make us doesn't enable us, doesn't disable us, or doesn't make us unable to the necessary existence of the absolute being. That is the answer. We have been talking about it on many occasions. So I cannot perceive it because it is
beyond
unlimited. Yeah, it is beyond comprehension, but I can conclude that it must be absolute. So that is why absoluteness of the creator is subject to belief. Belief means rational, humanly conviction. You are sure such a being must exist. Such a being must exist as the source of existence. Otherwise, you cannot explain the existence of the universe and yourself. So simple. But we don't make the distinction. We think as if when we talk about belief, we are talking about something that, according to me, it must be in this way. According to me means really, I'm not sure, but it must be something like this. No, human beings within their own created capacity can comfortably comprehend and understand and come to the conclusion that their source of existence must be an absolute being. Also, his qualities, is to your point, his qualities must be also absolute at the same time, because an eternal being, an absolute being cannot be born. Can you be different person from your qualities? Different from yourself, from your own qualities. That's what you are. So it is a way of understanding or approaching the essence. So we are not really seeing the manifestation of the absolute itself, but the absoluteness of the qualities are manifesting themselves in the world. That's why we talk about qualities must be absolute. So the owner of these qualities, absolute qualities, must be necessarily absolute as well. So simple.
What I understood is by the reality of he means, I think, as you said, the reflected qualities of God. That's why if we put this to eat, like why humanity cannot perceive the reflected qualities of God, how can humanity perceive its absolute?
It's absoluteness. So reflected qualities, no, don't say of God, because we are experiencing only reflected qualities. But it's a logical conclusion to say that it must be the reflected qualities of the absolute being who is called God. It is another stage. So we shouldn't use an prejudiced language or biased language. So logically, what we must talk in a logical way that is consistent within itself. But ultimately, what we are saying is correct, but the language must be corrected. Yeah. So to conclude, shall we start to conclude this summary of what we have been studying for a year? Well, what is the number? You know the number?
Just like 31 parts.
31, and more than half a year. Yeah, we have been going on. Now, this page is almost one page, and was a printing mistake with the printing mistakes. One page, we can call it. This one page, bullet points, summarizes the main points that we have discussed, but put sometimes in a question form that to remind us or to refresh our minds. Okay, so I think we should stop here rather than going. If you like, we can. We have some. We are over deadline, but we are used to getting closer to 1 o'clock. Now, what shall we do? Shall we stop? Stop? Hey, okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman. Okay. Inshallah, we will continue having this Saturday here in NYU building, 4th floor, at 11 o'clock until November the beginning of November when the time changes, the daylight. Then we will make another arrangement for time. So I think, okay. And Monday, not Wednesday, Monday. I'm used to saying Wednesday. But next Monday at 6:30 in IC. It means in the prayer. Inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة